Namaste, everyone. Welcome to the Pranic Healing podcast. On this episode, we're going to talk about pranic healing as a lifestyle. And our guest speaker today is Ananda Nunez. Ananda has worked for a European company as a business training consultant in team building and leadership skills. She later specialized in digital marketing and started a technology company, Signeasy, with her husband, where she led communications and marketing efforts. In 2007, she started her meditation practice, and soon after, pranic healing came into her life. She is a certified Associate Pranic Healer and is now focused on a second bachelor degree in performing arts. Please welcome Ananda.
Hello, Jason.
Hi there, Ananda. Thank you for joining us all the way from Mexico City. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, beautiful. Mexico City is so amazing. It's definitely one of my bucket lists to travel to. I just have heard so many amazing stories, and I just wanted to tell you that.
We
So,
wait for
and
you here.
yes, I know you're on the top of my list for people to first visit and get a tour and a guide around. And I'm so happy, Ananda, for you joining us today because the topic that we're talking about is really sort of something that we do automatically, in pranic healing for those that know pranic healing and practice pranic healing. But I think this is a really good opportunity for people that are not in pranic healing, right, to understand what goes on in a pranic healing lifestyle, right? So, just to kind of start, I wanted to ask you, Ananda, what does the pranic healing lifestyle mean to you, and what is your experience having a pranic healing lifestyle to start?
Okay. Well, the pranic healing lifestyle comes automatically as you change your perspective on life, on the loss, the universal loss that when you realize, right? That's right. Whenever this, then this happens. And if I do this, then this is a consequence. If you start doing things consciously, then you start developing this lifestyle? It's a
Mm.
very broad question that I think we will be.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna be diving a little bit deeper in it because there's so many aspects, right? There's the health, the career, the meditation part, as we know. So, um, this is really important because I want, especially the people that are not into pranic healing or don't know what pranic healing is. I think this is, again, for us, it's just a great opportunity to share our experiences, and right, so our experiences are the great, the best testimonials. So how did you kind of come into pranic healing? I know you said 2007 you started with meditation, so
Yes.
how did that all start?
Yes, around that time I was already interested in meditation. So it was a friend who invited me to a place where I could meditate, and at the same time, I would receive a healing. So
Mm.
I remember that day I had a neck pain, right? So great. So I went, and it was really, really awesome for me to do a meditation practice. And by the end of the session, that I could move around and feel so great. It was so I started joining these meditations every week. So this meant that there were volunteers who were pranic healers that as people went to do their meditation, they would ask beforehand, is there anything that you would like? Do you have any sort of pain or anything that you would like to remove? And I say this because sometimes it might be a feeling of sadness, right?
Mm.
Or any kind of healing, any kind of feeling, sorry. So that's how I started going to the meditations. I was a regular girl, working throughout the week and doing what everybody does on the free time, right?
Yeah.
So as I was amazed that within 30 minutes, I could be relieved from a pain. And then this later on, for example, every year I would have this sort of like cold and cough and throat. And so you go to the doctor and you know the expenses and all this that you had to go through. And I was amazed at how pranic healing can be used preventively, right? So whenever you start feeling something is coming, it's just a matter of cleansing that part of your body, and then it might just not come, right? So I never went back unless it was, like a COVID kind of thing that I had
Mm-hmm.
to check. I never really came back for a cold or cough symptoms or things like that, because so that's how I started pranic healing. I found it amazing that I could take charge of my state of being, that
Mm-hmm.
there's this technique for self-healing. So I love that. It was the self-healing that got me.
Yeah, and I love what you said because it is, when we practice medicine, there's a big part of medicine now that's called preventative medicine, right? So you do things like you said that prevents the onset of any illness, like you said, a sore throat or a cold, and that's exactly what pranic healing is. You can work on the acute issue, like a neck pain that you started with, or you can work on things that may be coming on, and that's such a great experience, right? Because this is only the foundation, and it sounds like you also took like the higher courses too, right? And especially psychotherapy, and you had like a pretty great experience doing that as well. So can you tell us a little bit about that? Because that goes a little bit more than just healing neck pain, right, or a sore
Correct.
throat.
So from the self-healing, I went on to do the basic and the advanced. And I do want to point out that the advanced is also so great because you start diving deeper into what prana is. You start noticing the qualities and how you can use colors to enhance your healing practice, so it's faster. Pretty much is so you can do it faster. So
Mm.
then with psychotherapy, there's the next color in which you can treat the all of the emotions that go around, right? So
Mm.
I remember my first cases. The first one was a breakup. Somebody that was really, really sad. And I said, you know what? Yesterday I just finished my psychotherapy course, and if you want, um, I can I can do a protocol for you, right? Because that's what we do. What I like about pranic healing is it's not about me healing the person. It's about me following a protocol and that doing its own work on the energy body of the person. So she was she was very peaceful. She fell asleep, the second one was also, it came on very fast. So ever since my first course, I was able to put it into practice every day, friends,
Mm.
family. Yeah.
That's so amazing, and as we all know breakup is something so hard to deal with, right? And what amazes me more is that you told her you just learned it, right? You
Yes.
just learned it
Yes.
the just recently, and you were able to apply the protocol, and she felt a lot better. She even fell asleep, right? And it sounded like she had improvement. And that's the amazing part of pranic healing that I want people to understand is that it's so simple yet so effective. And sometimes you surprise yourself, right? Sometimes you're, oh wow, it worked that
Correct.
well. Like
Correct.
you can't even believe it. And I love what you said because it really goes to highlight, this is why it's become a lifestyle, right? It's become a lifestyle for us because it's almost automatic. We just do it because it's like breathing. It's like breathing. It's so simple, so effective. And I wanted to kind of continue this conversation because I know you took, from basic and advanced is where you use, the color energies that you mentioned. And psychotherapy, we work on more of the emotions and the thoughts. And then you also did crystal as well, which crystal pranic healing is basically the same, but use crystals to kind of accelerate the rate of healing. So it sounds like you're doing a lot, Ananda. So is pranic healing your passion or is it your profession? Because you live a busy life. You and your husband, you're doing so many things. So talk to us about that.
um, I like studying. That is true. So you take the courses step by step. I did not have this goal of doing 20 courses and what will happen afterwards. But what started happening is, as I took one course and I would apply it, whether to myself or to my loved ones, I realized how step by step you get more techniques, either to speed up the rate of your healing practice. Like you were saying, like the crystals are a tool. And then I just incorporated it to my life. It was after
Mm.
5 years that I
5
started
years.
my healing practice, right, for
Mm.
clients and stuff.
Mm.
But I was healing since the first day. Now, where do you find time to do that, right?
Right. I was
Sometimes.
gonna say, like, do the meditation, do the healing for yourself, help other people. That's a lot.
So you realize very, very in the beginning, it was for me, that when I do the meditation, I have much more energy to do whatever I need to do throughout the day.
Mm.
So I remember there was a time when I was changing jobs and I was working for like an association also after the after the job, and we were preparing for an event, and I was like, oh my god, I'm going to wake up and do my meditation at 5. And that was what got me through the whole week, which was very, there were a lot of things going on, but meditation gives you the energy, so your healings go better, so your healings go faster, so your projects happen. And that's
Mm.
what you have to realize, right? So we always have 30 minutes. What do you devote 30 minutes to, would be the important question.
Yeah, yeah, and I think that's something almost counterintuitive for like the average person, right? You're gonna wake earlier in the day and take away more time from your sleep, and then take less time from your day to do this meditation practice, right? But it sounds like you did it every day, and it actually gave you energy, right? It actually helped kind of supercharge yourself to get through the week, like you said. And I think a lot of people think meditation is just all about quieting your mind, quiet your emotions, maybe help with stress and anxiety. But there's so much more to it, and especially with the type of meditation that we practice, right? Which
Yes.
is Twin Hearts meditation. So, just very quickly, Ananda, I know we've talked about Twin Hearts meditation in the past on the podcast, but for an average person that doesn't know anything about meditation, how would you describe that? Because it sounds so amazing that you could do something like meditation, but feel more energized and more
Yes.
stronger.
Okay. One of the most amazing things of the Twin Heart meditations is, if you do it automatically, it's a healing meditation. So just by doing it, your chakras get cleaner, your aura gets cleaner, it gets bigger. Just automatically by doing the meditation, that happens. Now,
Mm.
if you set an intention for that meditation, then this can be magnified, right? If you, before, as you sit down, you say, okay, as I do the meditation, I will be cleaner, I will feel more energized, then that happens 10 times more. So that
Mm.
would be a tip for anybody who is starting this
Yes.
meditation. And you get a good feeling, because it's all about your happy moments.
Yes. Yeah, it's really amazing because like how we do pranic healing, right? There's like a protocol, there's different steps. Same thing, if you follow the steps, same thing in Twin Hearts. There's step 1, step 2, step 3. You will get the result, right? If you are able to relax, let go, and just like Master Choa said, follow simple instructions.
Yes.
And the other part I love, which has never been mentioned on the podcast, is to set intentions, right? And we know how important it is to set intentions every day, right? For your goals, for your weekly goals, monthly goals, yearly goals. And it's like you're using the energy anyways. Why not choose to get back what you need, what you want, right? And that's a good reminder for me as well. And sometimes, as you know, when you in the pranic healing, you're just like, oh, let me just do Twin Hearts because I have to do it today. But yes, it's a good reminder. Let's set an intention for the meditation, even if it's you only have 20 minutes and you just have to get it done. It's
Yes.
always best to set the intention for whatever you want to come back to you.
And for those who, I've come across people who say, I can't do it. I can't meditate. It's just so difficult.
That's a
Then
lot
I
of people.
say,
Yeah.
don't worry. You put the play button. And if at any point you get lost, whether in your thoughts or anywhere, you just come back to the voice and follow. Like you say, it's like simple steps. And
Mm,
when you do it the second time, it gets better. And the 20th time, it will be different. It is
mm,
for us, right? Even though we've
yeah.
been doing it for 15 years, every time is different.
Yeah, speaking of you doing it like for this long, and like you said, I think for you it's like 15 years. That's quite a long time, and it's a long time in a good way, right? Because it's always a practice. It's always a practice that we keep doing every day, and we get better by better. But how do you kind of like stay updated with products? Right, we still learn something new a little bit every time we practice. So I'm curious to know, Ananda, how do you kind of stay updated with the practice? Just like how we stay updated with the news and different technologies, how do we stay updated with pranic healing in your practice?
Um, well, the first thing is I connect to the teacher. So to Master Chakoksui in whichever way I can, right? So whether it's through our various communities and events, that there are plenty, right? And today with the online world, even more. So you attend online classes or online events, or you go to the retreats, and that's where we last met. Correct? I
Yes.
last saw you in March,
Mm-hmm.
and what I, yeah, that's how. So the teacher used to uh, tell everyone that you should meet the teacher at least once every year
Mm.
to remember the teachings, right? To and sometimes we know so many things, but it's good when we have a refresh.
Yes.
So
Yes.
so it's looking for that, and also if there's any course or any certification program that is still there, then by taking it.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And it's we, I've probably taken basic like dozens of times, right?
Yes.
And it's the level one. It's the first class you learn, and we still practice those simple basic techniques till today. And every time I take a basic class, it's like, oh wow, I didn't know that about that part and that part. So every class, every opportunity, you learn a little bit more. And also, I want to highlight what you mentioned is that the community aspect in pranic healing, right? There's
Yes.
different centers in pranic healing all over, different pranic healing centers all over the world, and you can find so many amazing people doing the same thing that how you got started in pranic healing, how I got started in pranic healing, which is meditation nights, healing nights, and you really experience it for yourself, and then you realize, oh, this could be a lifestyle of mine, right? Which is the
Correct.
topic for today. Does that sound right with the community
Yes.
aspect?
I started in Mexico, as I was saying. I went once to a
Mm-hmm.
meditation, and that would be like my healing center, which gave me all of the pranic healing workshops. And
Mm.
then I moved with my husband to India, and I found the community also over there, and it's so
Especially in
joyful.
India, yeah,
Yeah, it's so
so many people.
joyful.
Yes.
And then I went to the ashram and I started doing the spiritual, the higher courses from Arhatic
Mm.
onwards. So I did also want to mention that pranic healing is the basis. It's like the foundation for my lifestyle, for
Mm.
sustaining a spiritual practice. And that's how the teacher was so great that he envisioned how is someone, like what do people need, what goes on in people's lives, right? Like what are all the challenges that people face, and there's like a protocol for anything. And that's how I also say that through pranic healing, if you have a relationship issue, you have the psychotherapy. And he said it right, if you have a financial issue, there's a class on kriya shakti and how you can overcome that aspect. Yeah,
Yeah.
the higher courses are amazing as well.
Yeah. And this is I find a lot of people come into pranic healing to heal, either themselves or for someone else. But once you get yourself through the door, you're like, oh wait, there's something for my relationships, there's something for my finances, there's something for my business, there's something for my
Yes.
education, right? It literally covers every fundamental aspect of life, right? And this is why it's a lifestyle, right? Because at this point for you and me, like I said, it's almost subconscious. We just do it because we've been practicing for so long. But I want the audience to really recognize that you can't understand it for yourself until you really try it and experience it yourself. And
Yes.
I love Master Choa's teachings because he never told us to listen blindly or believe blindly. It's always you have to experiment, you have to evaluate for yourself and come to your own conclusion. And like we said, everything is a step by step basis. Like
Yes.
it's like a recipe. So if you follow the recipe, you should get the final product at the end,
And you know
right?
what? It's also pretty much like it's cleansing and energizing every aspect of your life. If you can, so that's what you realize with time.
And for the people that don't know what that means, cleansing and energizing, what does that mean in pranic healing for
Yeah.
those?
So even if I'm going to put it in regular terms, right? You have a relationship, a strained relationship with someone, right? So there are blockages that are hindering that relationship between you and that person. So you would have to remove that so the relationship would go smoother. Yeah.
Mm,
So you have to sort of like, you have to clean up your relationship,
absolutely.
and then you have to energize it with what does that relationship need? Love, affection, harmony. Yeah. So you
Mm,
also have to do things. Yeah. So pranic healing sets the energy conditions for the person to get to heal, right? If it's an ailment, and it also sets the conditions for in this example, for a relationship to heal. And then you have to go and do the actions which make it true, right? All the
mm,
intentions that you set with your thoughts and your feelings and your words, then you go into the action.
mm. Yeah, that's and this is I think what makes pranic healing so different is that you can live a happy, fulfilled life without going to the mountains and just meditating with a guru or a yogi, right? I love what you said. You have to in pranic healing, you have to take action, right? We're not just sitting on our butts meditating all day and waiting for a miracle to drop in our laps, right?
Yes.
We do meditate, right? We do clean ourselves of the energetic obstacles that might come in our way, whether physically or emotionally. But we also take action. And I think that's such an important part of pranic healing and living a pranic healing lifestyle, right? Because we can't let go of our family. We can't let go of work, although sometimes we really want to, right? We just want to go alone somewhere and just be by ourselves, right? But we live in, the 21st century, and Master Choa really developed and designed this tool. It's a spiritual tool and it's a system that helps us in again like you said our everyday lives.
You can
Um,
enhance that life
Enhance it
that
as
you want,
well.
you that you would prefer to live. You can enhance it. So,
Yeah.
for example, I love when I go to, as you mentioned, I did training workshops with companies, right? So where we would see like leadership skills and motivation and communication and how to be more effective and all of this, right? So you talk about productivity. Well, it's
Mm,
important when you're talking about productivity. Does your being need to be in order to be productive, right? So when I remember occasionally I do this meditations for companies, and when you bring the consciousness aspect also to work, it changes people's life and it changes the company.
mm,
And so today, as you were saying, also I'm studying performing arts. But how did I get there? Because this art, which is called eurythmy, happens in the etheric. So
mm,
pranic healing, I mean, doing pranic healing for 15 years, when I go and so eurythmy is like is through movement. When people see it, oh, it's a beautiful dance. yeah, it's much more than a dance, and it happens in the etheric. It's not my body or my personality dancing,
Mm.
but it's a very subtle kind of practice, which is like a meditation practice in movement. So
Hmm.
pranic healing has taken me all the way there. There was this professor who came, and a friend of mine organized a workshop with 12 people or so. And he said, "Where did you get all of these eurythmists?" And she says, "They are not eurythmists, they're pranic healers." And he was like, "Oh my God." So,
Yeah. I mean, I think that just goes to show, right? And I literally tell this to everyone that wants to take it, or is looking interested to taking it, because pranic healing gives you the foundation, almost like a new lens of looking at life, and you can apply the teachings to every aspect of life, whether it's in, what I tell people, it's like in health, right? Very simple. Whether it's in your career, your finances, your relationship, or even in more specific hobbies and arts. Like for me, I apply it to doing rock climbing, right? Working out, because I
yes,
can do more workouts, do more exercises. And I loved your example because it's such a especially with that person describing all the pranic healers as already like, oh wait, they practice this, they look like they know it. But it's like, yeah, we have like the tools, we have the foundation, right?
yes.
Does that sound correct?
It's pranic healing is a huge toolkit
Mm,
in one way, and in the other, as you advance through the workshops and as you get to know the teacher more and more, it gives you the, as I was saying, like the laws of the universe, where you
mm,
can, now you can see life from a different perspective. And it just came to my mind to mention that my dad passed away 2 years ago.
mm,
And when this happened, I was able to do a protocol for someone who transcends the body, the physical body, and I was in complete peace, you know,
mm,
complete. So later I thought, had this happened 15 years ago, it would have been completely different. And myself, I would have been in a, I don't know in what kind of a state. So in
right.
that way, it transforms your life.
Speaking about it, yeah, I mean, death is a very challenging
Yes,
experience for
yes,
anyone, right?
yes,
And especially the death of someone so close to you, like
yes,
a father or a mother. It's without these tools, we would feel almost helpless in
yes,
those moments, right? But part of it is not only to heal, but also being okay with the process of healing, right? And as we all are, when it comes to anything physical or emotional. And I love your example, and thank you for sharing that part for the audience, because it, like you said, I think even for myself, if I were to lose someone, a family member today, I think it would still be hard, right? Don't get me wrong, but I would manage it better, right? In a much more
yes,
optimal way than 10 years ago. I'd be, like I said, I don't know what I would do as
yes.
well. So,
And
again, yes.
going back to the community, like the first thing I did is I texted some of my closer pranic healing friends, my first teacher, and everybody, because of course, as a daughter, you have to deal with a lot of logistics, right? So for the healing protocols to happen, I also relied on my community.
Mm, beautiful. And as we know, the community is family, it's our extended family
Yes,
at
yes,
the end of the day. And when talking about the pranic healing lifestyle, the pranic healing family system is part of that, deeply part of that. When you get down to it, right? When you see the same people meditating, helping each other, healing,
yes.
going to events and classes, it's one big family.
And it's also a very structured family. That is one thing that I want to highlight, because I did study, like the first thing that I studied with relation to energy was Reiki. And but there, I'm just going to talk about pranic healing. Like here, I know where is the center, where is my teacher, where are my everybody. There's a structure that you feel
Like you have a
Yeah,
sense of,
like
where
how
everything is,
you
why
know,
it works.
yeah.
Yes,
And if I have a question, where do I go and who can help me?
someone can
You
help
know,
you answer. Yeah,
it's very physical and it's all over, yeah,
the world.
the world. And it's also very standardized, which is important.
Very important. Very important.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I just wanted to touch on that point because a lot of other practices, right? You don't necessarily get those answers, and you just kind of have to like, oh, you just got to do
Yes.
it, right? Or you don't necessarily have access to the people with those
Access.
answers,
Yes.
right? Yeah, especially Reiki and other practices. Not to put them down or anything, but it's just
No.
different. We're different. It's a different practice, a different tool. But we just share why it's a great tool, and we share why it might benefit you to learn and experience this tool.
Yes.
And to kind of cap off this wonderful conversation, Ananda, I mean, everything we've been talking about is a reflection of our experiences with the pranic healing lifestyle. So thank you so much, Ananda, for this amazing conversation. And just to leave you with one last question I ask every guest, what's your one advice you would have for, the general public about this topic, about pranic healing? What would your best words of advice be for them?
Okay. So wherever you are in the world, you can check out globalpranichealing.com and see where is your center, right? Go to the first workshop that you can attend, whether it's the self pranic healing workshop or the basic course, and experience it for yourself. In the course, you have the meditation. In the course, you learn about your physical body, about your energy body. And I think it's very important for any person with a body to know more about it.
Mm.
And and as you do this, Master Toa said that he would see how the impact of pranic healing would change the world with one pranic healer per family. And I have seen that in my own family and throughout the community. As you evolve, others around you also do. So with the first workshop, you get to know about these universal laws that I've been talking about certain virtues and karma. Towards the end of the workshop, you learn the protocols of how you can start enhancing your healing processes, and and you get to know this wonderful community.
Mm. Well, thank you. And I loved how you connected that part about Master Choa's goal or vision was to have one pranic healer in every family, right? And being that Founders Days was just recently, I think that's such a poetic way, a poignant way of capping it off. Because if you have one person in your family that knows about pranic healing, like you said, everyone gets better. Everyone's life gets transformed, has more peace, love, and harmony. So I love that answer. Thank you, Ananda. All right. Well, thank you, Ananda, again for this amazing conversation. And I'll leave all of your information below for people that are interested in contacting you. And that's all for this episode. So, Atma Namaste, everyone. Thank you for listening to the Pranic Healing Podcast. And we hope to see you on the next episode.